And welcome back. Each week, we honor a person or a group that's making America proud by giving selflessly to help others. We call them our Patriots of the Week. This week, Winnie Pritchett and Amy Zambrano are our honorees. They are the co-founders of iPads for Soldiers. It's a not-for-profit group that donates that technology to our troops overseas or at Walter Reed Medical Center in Maryland so that they can FaceTime with their families back at home. Let's welcome Winnie Pritchett and Amy Zambrano to America Right Now.
Thank you, Tom.
It's great having you here, and what a wonderful idea. Now, Winnie, you are the two of you have been friends for a very long time. Tell us about how this idea came about.
My oldest son, Wes, a West Point grad, was deployed to one of the most dangerous regions in Afghanistan as an Army helicopter pilot in 2010. And, you know, as a mom being home, I felt like there was nothing I can do. You know, I was just helpless, but we were waiting for him to get there and see how we could help with him. And unfortunately, when he got there, he learned of an infantry group that lost 8 soldiers before their redeployment back home. So we were trying to think of something that we can do to boost their morale and sort of an upgrade on the traditional care package. And right at that time, the iPad came out, and we were like, oh, this is definitely, who wouldn't want to get an iPad, and how useful it is, especially being deployed.
Amy,
so Amy, and I,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So Amy, my neighbor and I started to fundraise, grassroots fundraise.
So now, Amy, this is in its 11th year. How has it grown and evolved over that time period?
Well, I'll tell you what, when we first started, we were actively at war and everyone was thinking about the troops at that time. And so I guess it seemed in a way that it was easier to support them. One of the things that's changed over time is that the letters from the troops continue to tell us that they feel like they've been forgotten. And it's heart-wrenching to read those letters. And we see it ourselves. People say to us, you're like, oh, you're still doing that? You know, why would you still be doing that? And we see the feeling that they have overseas, that they've been left alone and been forgotten. So as time has gone on, we've really ramped up our efforts. We're a very grassroots, local, not-for-profit. It's really the two of us and some of our friends and family. We do things like movie nights and dress down days and things like that to raise the money to buy the iPads that we need. And especially with COVID now, most of our fundraising has come to a halt. The school dress down days are our main source of funding for the fall drive that we do for our holiday deliveries. Those went away this year. So it's become really difficult to do fundraising during difficult times. And this is a time when our troops need us more than ever. So we're really anxious to give them a good showing of love this holiday season.
Yeah, you know, as our engagements overseas moved off the front page, that didn't mean that our people were not still over there fighting and sacrificing for our country and for the world, really. So it's so important that they feel loved and that they can connect back at home. Winnie, how many iPads have been given to soldiers through this program?
So through our 10 years, we just hit our 10,000 mark for iPads. So that's pretty cool that we were able to do that. And we just sent 12 to Walter Reed yesterday. We have 12 injured heroes there. And most of our iPads are now going to special forces in remote areas in Somalia, Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. So they really need them the most, because now that we don't have everybody there anymore, it's the big bases are slimmed down. So the iPad is really useful for them.
Amy, you've both of you have delivered these iPads to soldiers at Walter Reed Medical Center, and you've received a lot of thank you letters from soldiers overseas. What is the most common response, and what is the impact that you've also seen on the soldiers' families as well?
Sure. I always say, first of all, going to Walter Reed every year is literally my favorite thing to do. I've taken my daughters once they were old enough. We look forward to it year round. We often go more than one time per year. And I say that if every American had to walk those halls, we would never have to ask anybody for a donation. It would just, everyone would get why it is so important to support our troops. We walk in those rooms and there are these young men and women that are single, double, triple, and even in some cases, quadruple amputees. And they're there with their families heartbroken. And we go in with this relatively small gift And it's kind of a battle between us saying, no, thank you, and they're crying and thanking us. And we're like, no, really, it's your sacrifice, your family's sacrifice. It's such a small thing. And it's so meaningful because many of these, I call them kids, don't even have the money for an iPad. No one in their families ever had an iPad. And it's really important for their connectivity, whether they're abroad, whether they're in a hospital bed, their families can't pick up and just move to DC to be with them. So it's meaningful in terms of its usefulness, and it's meaningful to show them that we appreciate and recognize the sacrifices of them and their families.
Winnie, how can people get involved and help iPads for Soldiers?
We really need donations. iPadsforsoldiers.org, and right there, just click minute away on your iPad, and everything goes to supporting our troops.
Well, Winnie Pritchett and Amy Zambrano from iPads for Soldiers, you are our Patriots of the Week. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing for our heroes in uniform, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now we want to hear from you at home. If you have someone you'd like to nominate to be our Patriot of the Week, please email us at patriotoftheweek@newsmax.com. We can't wait to see your nominees. And as always, we'll end America Right Now with America the Beautiful. We are just days removed from Thanksgiving, and since that Mayflower landed in Plymouth, Massachusetts back in 1620, we're going to take you to the Bay State for a look at its amazing beauty. Have a great weekend, and thank you for joining us here on America Right Now.